a humanitarian tragedy that has shaken much of the world. Rotary members and donors have responded with millions of dollars in direct aid for projects aimed at helping the people of Ukraine, and also the millions who have fled that country. And we as Rotarians continue to advocate forcefully for peace. With us today are three members of the Rotary family who are leading important efforts to provide safety and comfort during this time of devastation. We have a panel of three people today. Mykola Stebljanko is in Odesa, Ukraine. Mykola is the editor of Rotary magazine in Ukraine. He's also a past district governor there. Marta Jagoda is based in Wroclaw, Poland. She is a Rotaract member and represents Poland in Rotaract Europe, and a familiar face to many Rotarians, Rotary International CEO and General Secretary John Hewko, who is joining us from Evanston, Illinois, USA. It's so great to have all three of you with us today. Mykola, I'd like to start with you. You're in Odesa, Ukraine right now. You and your wife have decided to stay there despite the war. First of all, I think a lot of us are wondering, how are you and what is life like in Ukraine right now?
Actually, it's very complicated to say how is our life because all Ukrainians here in Ukraine are in the dangerous all the time. Because despite, for example, here in Odesa, there is no military actions, but we are in the dangerous under the Russian missiles. And for example, right now, all territory of Ukraine under the air raid sirens, because next targets of Russian missiles right now in the life. And today we already had two missiles that goes in the region of Odesa, in the region of Kharkiv. So that's our life right now.
Mykola, we here in the U.S. are watching this war unfold on television, and I think a lot of us are struck by two things. Number one, the devastation that we're seeing. Some cities are just decimated, but I think also we're impressed with how strong the resolve is among Ukrainians to fight and defend their homeland. I'd like to know your perspective on that. Where does that come from, that resolve to stay and fight?
That's our origins, Ukrainians. We are Ukrainian Kazakhs, and we feel that's Ukraine is our land, and we have to fight for our land. If, for example, I'm an internally displaced person from Crimea, and I'm already refugee. Once I have to move from Crimea to Odesa, and now I see there is no place to move. I need to defend my land, and I need to stay here in Ukraine because I'm Ukrainian.
Marta, I'd like to go to you next. Millions of Ukrainians have fled to surrounding countries, including Poland. You're in Poland, so very close to Ukraine. How has the war affected you so far?
It affected me very much. So first of all, as a Rotaract and country representative, I was immediately involved in many projects, all the logistics, weekly Rotaract Europe meetings, and I was basically 24/7 on my phone trying to organize all the arrivals and also find host families for refugees that were arriving here. So from this side, this was really my daily life. And as a person, of course, I was very stressed because it happened very close to us, and it affected us immediately, starting from the price of our currency and like all the prices. Some companies decided to left or not to hold on the investment in Poland. So we were very strongly affected. Also because Poland decided not to agree to the Russian demand to pay for gas in rubles. So we had to immediately shift to alternative sources of energy. And every day we just hear some new information that affects our daily life, and we have to respond to that. Also, the city where I live, we have hosted the most Ukrainians. Currently, it's around 24% of all citizens. So you can only imagine how noticeable it is. And I think they find themselves very well here. Many people have found already work, and we tried to cooperate and help each other. There are many initiatives. So it's really changed our life dramatically, I would say.
Yeah. Marta, I want to go to you in a little bit to talk a little bit more about some of the projects that you're involved with. I'd like to go now to John. John, we know the situation in Ukraine is hitting especially close to home for you. Tell us more about your family and your Ukrainian heritage.
Well, thank you, Mark. Yes, my parents are from Ukraine. They came to the United States in 1949 after the Second World War. As the Soviet army started moving through Ukraine, they fled west and then spent 4 years in refugee camps in southern Germany. And in 1949, were fortunate enough to be able to come to the United States. They're originally from western Ukraine, near a city called Ternopil. And so, yes, it's very personal to me. I still have a great deal of family there, family that I've stayed in very close contact with, and just been very, very difficult to watch how Putin, with this unprovoked war, is sort of systematically, working to destroy Ukraine.
Mykola, you're in Odesa, Ukraine. Ukraine has around 60 Rotary clubs. What are those clubs doing right now in terms of communicating with one another and also helping get aid that's coming into the country to where it's needed in Ukraine?
I would like to tell that from the very beginning, from the first days of the war, we tried to continue our Rotary service. First of all, we created a coordination committee in our district, and each representative of all 62 Rotary clubs can join to our committee and discuss all actual problems and some needs that need their community. We met twice a day, each morning and evening, and we discuss all problems that help Rotary clubs in all territory of Ukraine. And our territory divided two parts. On the west, we have without military actions, but a lot of internally displaced people, refugees. And on the east part, we have military actions and cities under the destroyments and another military consequences.
Mykola, what do you want most for the rest of us Rotarians watching from around the world? What would you like to tell all of us in terms of engaging us? What's your message for the rest of the Rotary world right now?
First of all, I would like to say big thank you to all Rotarians, Rotary clubs and districts. We feel your support. Thank you so much who donated to Rotary Disaster Response Fund. Also, we appreciate for your donations directly to our district. These funds helped us to our service to our communities. We provide needed medicines to our hospitals. We provided help to refugees. Also, we created a lot of support to our community to fight and to fight with this, the biggest challenge in our history of Ukraine. Big thank you.
Wow, that's great. Mykola, thank you. Marta, how has your club and Rotaract in Poland been responding to the war in Ukraine? What types of projects have you been involved in?
There are so many different types of projects that it's really difficult to name them all. Everybody's involved in some way. There are many ad hoc projects that comes from different countries when they request us to help them with the logistic or to find a place to stay for someone on the way to Ukrainian border in Poland. It goes both way also for the refugees escaping from Ukraine. So many people from Rotaract and Rotary got involved and are hosting these people for short term or long term. I personally also were hosting one mother with newborn for like 2 months. So we are all involved in ad hoc projects. Also, we have bigger projects that we are involved for. So one of these, it's Rotary Wroclaw that I think it's worth mentioning. They have organized the medical help here at place in Wrocław for refugees, mothers, and children that are chronically ill, so that they don't have to get in the system, wait. They help with the psychological help. Also, they hire medics that can speak Ukrainian and Russian to translate and to support these people as much as it's possible. It's a huge project, and it wouldn't be possible without the help coming from the other Rotary clubs around the world. So currently they have collected, and it's a new project, around 1 million zloty, and the project is already running. And there are also small projects organized locally by the Rotaract clubs. So one of the Rotaract clubs from Bydgoszcz organized the workshops for a coffee place, so that people would have chance to find here work in Poland. So they could have some certificates, and I've heard that some of them already found new jobs. We also have with accommodation. So Rotaract Club from Warsaw have rented for long-term hostel and is receiving refugees there for a long time. We also provide some supplies. We send some supplies, or we also cooperate with mostly German Rotary and Rotaract clubs. Most of these are being sent to Lviv, and it's being also coordinated by Tatiana Prolipko, who was the past DRR of Ukraine. She returned, and she's currently in Lviv. Yes, it's difficult to name it all. There are so many, actually.
Wow. And the fact, Marta, that you are hosting a mother with a young baby, tell me more about that mom. And she must be so grateful to have a safe place to be with her baby right now.
Actually, she's very independent, and she already found her own flat, and she moved out. She's working. She's very lucky because she can work remotely. She designs graphic for the games. Yes, she was very positive and very strong. She's a positive thinker. So we could tell that she was stressed because she talked a lot, and then we've seen that it's very emotional for her and difficult. But I was really, really surprised, and I envy her how well did she handle it. But I've heard many stories coming from different people, different friends of mine and families, that sometimes it's difficult because people are so shocked and they can't start their life here. They need some psychological support, and it's sometimes difficult for families that weren't prepared for that to provide it.
Yeah. John, I know that so many Rotarians watching our video stream right now are wondering what they can do. I know that Rotary International has created a fund to raise money and get these resources. Tell us about the Rotary response, John, and what we can do to help.
Yeah. No, it's been absolutely incredible. As Mykola mentioned, we established 2 months ago the Disaster Response Fund for Ukraine, and it's now over $15 million. So the response from the Rotary world has been incredible. And also want to really recognize the extraordinary work that Rotarians are doing in Poland, Slovakia, Hungary, Moldova, Romania, the Baltic countries. Rotarians and Rotaractors in the rest of Europe, the United States, throughout the world. It's just been absolutely extraordinary. My inbox is constantly flooded with requests. How can we help? What can we do? And we've demonstrated that we have. And I particularly want to recognize the Ukrainian Rotarians. Mykola talked a bit about what they're doing. A large number of Rotarians in Ukraine have lost their jobs. A large number have had to send their families abroad. A large number are internally displaced. Yet they continue to meet, they continue to work, they continue to do fantastic projects. They've now, I think they're on their third or fourth grant from the Disaster Response Fund. And in fact, their work is becoming so recognized in Ukraine that Rotary membership in Ukraine has actually increased in the middle of this war. So the Rotary response has been extraordinary. I'm not surprised. We've seen how Rotary has responded historically to challenges such as polio and other disasters that have occurred throughout Rotary's history. But this one has been absolutely incredible. What can we do to continue to provide resources, funding? We do have on the website a one-stop shopping landing page where you can find information about the Disaster Response Fund, how to apply for a grant if you're a Rotary district. In addition, we have a very broad contact list, all the contact persons in Ukraine, the frontline countries, in other places, with bank accounts, etc. So as Mykola said, you can donate directly to the Ukrainian district, you can donate to the Polish district, the Romanian, Moldovan, Slovak, Hungarian. So there are many avenues to participate and many avenues to contribute and to help. But the response has been really, truly extraordinary.
Wow, that's amazing. So just go to the Rotary International website and there's a one-stop place there. John, I think, for people who are not Rotarians who may be watching this video stream, you touched on this. The beauty of the Rotary network is that just about anywhere you go in the world, if there's a problem, there's a network. There's a support system and a distribution network of people like us, people who can immediately take resources and put them to work. And I think that's why the Gates Foundation, joined Rotary in its fight to eradicate polio, because of that amazing network. If you would just talk to those people who may not be Rotarians to understand that the beauty of the Rotary network around the world.
No, it's absolutely incredible. We have 1.2 million Rotarians in over 200 geographic locations. I like to say that there's not a politician in the world who doesn't have a Rotarian as a constituent, which makes us an extremely effective organization, as you mentioned, Mark, to respond to disasters and to truly make a difference in our communities, because we have this unique combination of being deeply local, because we bring together people of action from local communities, and yet we're extremely global. We're everywhere. And that intersection between the global and local is something that's very unique to Rotary. So not only, as I said, not only in Ukraine, but it's our polio eradication effort, disasters that have happened, whether it's tsunamis or earthquakes or hurricanes, Rotarians are there to immediately step up, to immediately help, because we have these deep community roots, coupled with that extraordinary global network that we have. And again, we're seeing it here in Ukraine. In a matter of weeks, millions and millions of dollars raised, activities left, right, and center, providing supplies, volunteers, help, sheltering people, taking them in. It's our Rotarians and our Rotaractors around the world are truly incredible.
Mykola, I'd like to go back to you and ask the question, what do you think the outcome to this war will be?
For Rotary, that's absolutely is growing. John already said that we are fix the growing of Rotary now in Ukraine, because our activity inside Ukraine, we became visible in our community with the help to to the people, and these people see our activity and they would like to join the Rotary. They would like to be Rotarian and would like to do the same. So I think that will be the victory for Ukraine against Russia, and that will be the victory for Rotary.
Marta, give us some encouragement in terms of, keeping up this fight to make a difference through the Rotary organization. What can you tell us, Marta?
I've been in Rotaract since quite a long time, and these hard times had really motivated me and showed me how great potential we have to organize things. And I've met many people during past 2 months, and keep doing what you do because you do the great job. And I think it's a great added value.
John, why don't you give us a few words from your perspective? You've been involved in Rotary International for so long, and you're so deeply involved in all the work that Rotary does. What can you tell us, John, for encouragement?
Well, I think, we all have to realize that Rotary as an organization, in my view, was sort of built for moments like this unmatched global platform. As I mentioned earlier, 1.2 million Rotarians in 200 geographic locations. This ability to have deep local roots, but yet have this global platform uniquely positions us to truly make a difference. We're seeing this in the tremendous response we've had in this Ukraine war and crisis. We've seen it with our attempts to eradicate polio and all the thousands and thousands of projects that Rotary clubs do every year around the world that truly make a difference. I think all of us as Rotarians can be and Rotaractors can be extraordinarily proud of all the work that our Rotaract and Rotary clubs do each and every year. And if I could just finally close on the comment question you asked earlier about Ukraine and needing to win the war. Can it win the war? Yes, it definitely can win the war, and it has to win this war. It has to win this war not only for Ukraine's sake, not only for the various geopolitical issues, but I think also for Russia's sake. Because at some point, the Russian people are going to need to look themselves in the mirror and ask some very difficult questions. How did we as a society and as a people get to the point where we're unleashing unprovoked, brutal wars against a fellow Slavic nation? These are all very difficult questions they're going to have to address as a society, and they're not going to be able to start that process unless Ukraine wins this war. So again, Rotary is playing an extremely important part in dealing with the humanitarian consequences of this brutal, unprovoked war. I think all of us as Rotarians can be extraordinarily proud of what we're doing. And again, it's just another demonstration of the global impact and ability to react that our great organization has.
Mykola, I'd like to, first of all, just say that our thoughts are with you, and we just have such admiration for the fact that you have decided to stay in your country and take a stand, and not only take a stand, but actually help to solve the problem that's going on through the Rotary network and through your work. So know that you have so many people thinking about you and really rooting for you as a Ukrainian. What words can you leave us with, Mykola, to encourage us to keep up the fight, to keep supporting you?
I would like to tell you that as Marta, I'm a former Rotaractor. I joined the Rotary movement 22 years ago in first Rotaract club in Simferopol in Crimea. And during this time, I hadn't doubts why I'm here, because I see what's important to do a Rotary in the world. And especially now, in these difficult moments in my life, I see how Rotary help Ukraine, help Rotary in Ukraine. And I have a dream to return to my motherland, Crimea, to the Rotary in Crimea. And I have a dream to invite you, to invite all Rotarians to Simferopol and celebrate Rotary in Crimea. And we we feel your support, and we feel that we are not alone. We are all Rotary family in the world. Thank you so much.
Well, Mykola, be safe, and thank you so much. And I think you touched on it right there, Mykola. You can walk into any Rotary meeting in the world, and it feels like your home club, because Rotary is about people and people who want to make a difference and want to make the world a better place. So it's been such an honor to talk with all of you today, John, Mykola, and Marta. Our gratitude goes out to all three of you for the work that you're doing to solve this crisis that's happening in Ukraine. Thank you so much for everything that you're doing in the name of Rotary, in the name of doing good in the world. And for those of you watching today, I want to thank you for joining us, for watching this very important program to help ease the suffering in Ukraine. We appreciate everyone who's been watching, and again, our panelists. If you would like to share what your club is doing for Ukraine, use the hashtag Rotary Responds, all one word, Rotary Responds. You'll find a ton of content on social media right now. And you can also learn more about Rotary's ongoing efforts, as John mentioned, at rotary.org. So thanks again to our panel. Keep up the great work, and thank you at home for joining us. Have a great day.